Welcome to the news now. And in our first story, Vice-Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Akosua wants more women included in policy formulation and implementation. She believes it is the best way to realize the SDG Goal 5, which seeks to promote gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls. Professor Dixon was speaking as part of activities to mark the 2023 International Day of Women and Girls in Science.
Globally, women make up about 28% of the workforce in science, technology, engineering and math, and men vastly outnumber women, majoring in most STEM fields. Speaking on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Mariana Santo-Ankansa stressed the inclusion of women in decision-making.
It's been almost a decade since the International Day for Women and Girls in Science was instituted. This is the 8th edition, and most of the themes have really around conversations which is meant to better the lot of women, if I should say so, particularly focusing on SDG 5. And some gains have been made, but I believe there's still room for more, and that is why every year we gather to have this conversation.
The 8th International Day of Women and Girls in Science aims to bridge the international community and women in science by linking their knowledge and expertise and its applications in a systematic, critical way for the 2020 Agenda and its 17 global goals. The African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, AIMS Ghana, and its partners held the forum across 3 major university campuses in Ghana to commemorate the 2023 International Day of Women and Girls in Science. The event was held simultaneously at the University of Ghana, Legon, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and the University of Development Studies. It was under the theme, Bring Everyone Forward for Sustainable and Equitable Development Through Ideas. The Kumasi Center focused on mentorship. The event is sponsored by the Henry Luce Foundation and partnered with the UN in Ghana and UNESCO. AIMS Women in STEM, with STEM GH, and KTCSR-UDS were organizers. Dr. Mrs. Bedu of Wisdom GH stressed the need to project the achievement of women in science through mentorship.
Our mentors, the experiences they shared with us, and I think it has been a huge success. That is what we want. I mean, we can continuously talk about mentoring the young lady, mentoring women in science, mentoring girls in science, but this is the time we need to project the achievements. So you realize that if they are innovative, they have to demonstrate their innovations. When they demonstrate their innovations, it has to be advanced.
Director of Planning and Quality Assurance at the Kumasi Technical University, Professor Abana Obriabwa, called for ways of resolving mentor-mentee conflicts.
At the end of the day, you want to achieve goals. And if that mentor is not going to help you, I think that the right thing to do is to end the relationship. And when I say end the relationship, I don't mean that pick up your phone, call the person, insult the person and say, I don't want you. Because you never know where you are going to meet that person again.
A senior research scientist at the Forestry Research Institute, Dr. Mrs. Gloria Jablete, encouraged mentees to approach potential mentors.
Sometimes you just sit back, you see somebody the way the one organize his or her things, the way the one carries himself or herself, you can decide to just move closer to test the waters, to see whether that place to be an appropriate area for mentorship for you or not.
Some of the students spoke with Joy News.
And as a woman too, there is no limitation to you. Not the sky is not even a limitation. Upon hearing what was taught to me today, I've now realized that there are certain things that I need to do. And then also, I think we should never give up with whatever you want to do. The great impacts our great leaders have made on our lives. I can boast today that I don't fear science and all. I also learned mentorship is not, it's just a guide, but it's not a teaching exercise.
Now, David Ni Bokete, an amputee father of 3, has developed his own way of hawking in the streets to earn some money to cater for his family. He says rather than being pitied and given a handout because of his physical disability, he wants to be a leading water distributor in the country. There's more in this report.
quite an unusual scene. A man in crutches chasing after a truck to sell to his customers. Meet David Bokete. He does not want to be pitied and given a handout because of his physical disability. David says he hustles daily to put food on the table for his family and also to teach his children to own up to their responsibility as they grow up. He lost his leg when he was 5 years old. David says a government hospital in Accra injected him with the wrong dose of medication and his leg stopped functioning.
It happened at the age of 5, when I was at the age of 5 at 37 Military Hospital. I was not feeling fine and my parents took me to the hospital to take some medication. But long run, the injection they gave me was a wrong injection and this caused a damage to the leg. Because my dad was like, it happens as happens, at least there's life and there's always hope.
He battled discrimination from his childhood. He recalled that his mates mocked him. But that has not changed as he endures several forms of discrimination, including being refused job offers because of his disability. When he finished senior secondary school, he started selling phone chargers and other accessories in the Accra Central Business District until he decided to hawk water in traffic.
It has not been easy at all with this situation. A lot of discrimination everywhere. Even in my own family, there were a lot of discrimination. But with hope and with a strong mind, I was able to overcome it one by one. After my secondary school, I sold in Mokola. I sold false clothes. I sell for some people like phone chargers, phone accessories. Then at the end of the day, I return the sales back to them. But it got to a point, I got a job, which I have to leave those things. But when COVID-19 came in, we were all laid off from the job. I was looking for a job after the COVID. And I went to this company to look for a job. And the security man told me that they don't employ disability in their company. I felt so bad that day, I was crying. And I said, what can I do to make people believe in disabilities, that we have the strength in us? So I went back home. I started thinking over it. So the thought of bottled water came into my mind that people drink water every day. There's no day that nobody cannot drink water. So how am I going to sell this water outside there?
He's doing good. He's forcing. If the car is going cry, he's forcing to chase the car. Yes, today he was fighting with one of us here. That's the customer call him. It's not the one.
His customers, who have become friends, say they love his zeal for work and that he doesn't beg for a living.
He's a hard-working guy. He said this bottle, he said like 2 years now. By that time he was not here. He was selling at the under bridge. But he came here like 6 months now. He's a hard-working guy.
But looking at David, Sebi, Nenayecha. Now, now Shahun Kekan would what traffic with the crutches. Now, tones, you know. In fact, my office saying your dispenser, you use it. But sometimes I just feel like me in China, maybe 3 CDs and now 5 CDs. But minimum says me tones you need bakukra. At least obey profit room.
Now, Ghana and India have partnered to develop and enhance the growth of agriculture, especially the development and consumption of pulse grains. A Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, Yalfrin Pongado, says Ghana is strategically positioned climatically to promote the food crop production. Richard Kwejunyako has more in the following report.
The 2023 World Pulses Day underlines the significance of pulses in fostering equity and generating chances for livelihood, both of which are essential elements of sustainable agri-food systems. Pulses are said to have a lower water footprint than other food crops and are better able to withstand drought and climate-related calamities, making them a crucial tool for adjusting to and reducing climate change. They also help farmers in water-scarce regions have a better quality of life. Pulse grains like dry beans, dry broad beans, dry peas, cowpeas, pigeon peas, bambara beans and others are expected to be championed to give nutritional value to Ghanaians. Speaking at the ceremony, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Ado, underscored the need for a stronger partnership between Ghana and India to develop and grow the pulse grains.
The ministry is full of support for the celebration of this day and for all the initiatives that we are putting in place to see to it that we have nutritional balance in our diet. It's supported by policy, and this is what I'm talking about, practical policy in the planting for food and jobs. The ministry is fully behind every effort to push this, the promotion of the consumption of these pulses in this country to the maximum. Indian Africa Trade Council, this is a special body to promote the friendship between Ghana and India. From where I'm coming, agriculture, it is of great significance to acknowledge that India is supporting Ghana in our agriculture drive, and therefore we welcome this council and call for closer collaboration between India and Ghana, especially in the area of food crop production.
From an economic standpoint, the global pulses industry, which deals with the production and trade of pulses, also demonstrate to be a beneficial force in ensuring the stability of regional and global supply chain and enable consumers to access wholesome foods. Chairman for the Central and West Africa Indian Africa Trade Council, Dr. James Rajamani, says India is working hard to sustain the relationship between India and Ghana, especially in the field of agric.
But while we are celebrating this important occasion, this is very important to see in the context that the old and close relations that we have between our two countries, India and Ghana, are actually based on such sustainable, long-term, national developmental premises. From day one, we joined hands with each other to see that we not only develop the national institutions of ours, but at the same time, we commit ourselves to build our capacities. And this is the basis of India's engagement with Africa, and not just Ghana. We are happy to see that when we are highlighting this particular sector in the vertical of agriculture and rural development today, that essence of our bilateral bond between our two countries is being celebrated.
The theme for the 2023 World Pulses Day is Pulses for a Sustainable Future, which also underlines the significance of pulses in fostering equity and generating chances for livelihood. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejinyako, Accra.
And something to smile about, host of news analysis program at News Files, Samson Ladi Anyenene, has been crowned the Best Journalist of the Year by the Millennium Excellence Foundation. The board of the foundation, under the auspices of the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, selected Mr. Anyenene for the award under its constitutional honors. Richard Kwejunyako reports again.
Let's welcome him as I invite Ambassador Martin to help.
It was a gathering of people who have contributed significantly to Ghana's constitutional democracy.
Not too long ago, when the Ghana Journalists Association decided to honor me for democracy and peace building, I spoke and said it was not anything I expected, because what I do out of passion.
Samson Ladi Anyenene was selected by the board of the Millennium Excellence Foundation as the 2022 Best Journalist of the Year under its constitutional honors.
I've been committed to what I do, and I will continue to commit to it for as long as there is a need to ensure social justice in our society.
Samson was part of the 19 award winners selected by the board for their various roles in protecting the sanctity of the 1992 Constitution.
I'm sure everybody here now has a Ghana card. Everything Ghana is Ghana card, the ECOWAS card, and he's the man who printed those cards. And that's why we see that he should be the man of the year. Arguably, he's the man of the year, and I'm sure everyone here believes that he should be the man of the year.
The executive chairman of the Margins Group of Companies, Moses Kwesi Baden, walked home with the coveted Man of the Year award.
I think from the explanation I got, it's because we've been around for a long time, 32 years. We've been evolving over the 32 years. And our projects that we've done over the 32 years have had great social, economic, and political significance. And the flagship project for which I guess the foundation thought deserved this award as a conceptualizing, the designing, the building, the finance, and the cooperation of the National ID system and the Ghana card with the National Identification Authority, being the private partner of NIA in a public-private partnership, which involved manufacturing of a highly secure ID card by an African company in Ghana and Africa, being the first time in the world that such a secure card has been manufactured in Africa.
The Chief of Staff, Akosua Frema Osayopare, made the 19-member list of awardees. She was adjudged the Politician of the Year. Richard Kojonyako, Joy News, Accra.
Elias Ajite Enum, a victim of police brutality who was shot in the head in 2018 but miraculously survived, has died and finally been laid to rest. Ojo's wish was for the police to investigate and punish the perpetrator who shot him at Abokobi Akpoman when he tried to settle a dispute. In the sequel to Joy News' documentary, As If We Weren't Human, features editor Jojo Kobina caught up with the widow, Deborah Ajile, who says she is looking up to God because the justice system has failed her.
The story of Elias Ojo Ajite Anum is bizarre. In May 2018, the police had a disagreement with Ojo's brother, so he tried settling the issue. Suddenly, one of the policemen's guns went off, sending a bullet from one side of his face to the other. Ojo survived, but became paralyzed. He lost his speech, and the nerves in his legs were also affected. Ojo almost lost all his memory. He could not remember his wife and children, but he said he could identify the policeman who shot him. He promised never to let go of the case, so he held on, but gave up in January 2023. His children mourn him for the last time. Ojo's wife, Deborah, says her tears are finished. She had been crying since 2018.
I don't know what to do to myself. No matter how you cry, or the person has gone already, and so nothing else to do about it.
6 months before Ojo died, he could not remember his wife.
Sometimes he can't recognize me. He will be asking me, who am I? Then the next time, when I ask him, who am I, he will tell me that I'm his wife. But sometimes when you ask him, he said he don't know me. But sometimes when I ask him, he said I'm his wife. That's what we have been. So I've been introducing myself and asking him that maybe does he know that he have kids. This lady who say is my kid, and this one too, they are my kids. And so sometimes when you ask him something, he reply to you, but sometimes he will never mind you.
Members of the Presbyterian Church Akakpo gathered to mourn the man who was part of them. The police had indeed dealt them a big blow. His 2 children who grew up not knowing their father. When Joy News contacted the police before the airing of the documentary in 2018, they declined interviews. In 2019, some police officials visited Ojo, promising to investigate the issue, but they never did.
Peace be a member be a me 2. I remember be I got more no pay ko me shimienli ame. Amba slale. Ame ka me yashi amba na money chatun ke boy say ba na batatun. No say na me ka ma ba ame ya me ba. Ko brother say ke man bi ame nya me say an still no ko na no ko no ko.
Ojo lies in a casket and begins his journey to the unknown world. He is placed 6 feet down the earth.
Well, it is indeed a very tragic event here. Elias is finally being buried. But when he was alive, he had one wish. The wish was for police authorities to investigate and find the person who shot him, investigate and also punish the person. He's now gone, and his family are yearning for that justice, where the person who shot him is identified and given the required punishment.
The head of the family is calling on the police to give the family closure.
Through this your medium, I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you. I know how this our man, the IGP, Dampari, so I'm pleading through this your medium to help us find justice to our brother. That's all that I need from you. Please. Whatever you can assist to arrest this perpetrator who perpetrated this horrible incident. Look at him. My brother, I'm being short of words. So please, if you can also assist so that we can find the culprit who did this particular thing.
God is the person who's going to judge, not me. And not him, any human will judge him. It's God.
Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
And on that pitiful note, we cap off the news this morning. But stay with us. The news review is up next on the AM Show.